Okay, let's talk China. Specifically, obviously, tariffs on China. I don't know where we are with Americans. It's 125% from China on American imports, because it is an import tax. And it's, last I heard, it was 145 from America on Chinese imports. Where are we now? Let me have a look. All right, April 17th. That was 2 days ago, as I am recorded. April 17th, the US published a fact sheet indicating that total tariffs on certain goods from China reach up to 245%. Let me just click the reference. That's Reuters, okay. That's a good picture of Trump. Okay, so I want to see how he's responding to this. I want to see what he's saying. All right, what are you saying?
You said that you have a good relationship with President Xi. Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think we have a.
Mr. President?
I think we're going to make a very good deal with Chad.
That's a pretty standard response, isn't it? I think we're going to make a deal. We're going to have a deal. I mean, not only is it, you know, his own practice, I believe, which is to, you know, if you keep on lying about it, eventually they'll believe you, or eventually it'll become true, or something like that. So that's definitely one aspect of it. But I do also think there's just a way of like fending off the question a little bit and stuff, you know, just like she's just asked the question, I'm just gonna, yeah, it's fine, we're getting it sorted, it's all gonna be good, we're gonna sort it and stuff. Okay, next question. Just, you know, say what they want to hear, kind of thing, you know.
Has he called you directly, President Xi, or reached out?
Well, you'd think it was pretty obvious that he has, but we will talk about that soon. It's not that important because.
Okay, wait. Just wait. Stop, pause, Mr. Trump. Wait, just please. Number one, I think it's pretty obvious that he has. You know, he does that thing of, why are you asking stupid questions sort of thing. He not only does it to maybe belittle the person who's asking the question, but also, and I notice he does it a lot with female reporters as well, that it's not only to belittle the person in front of people and stuff perhaps, or whatever, and to maybe make them feel like, oh, I don't want to ask a question again because that's embarrassing, right? But it's also to position himself as, in his perspective, I suppose, smarter than them. I do think that it's, yeah, so we've got it either loaded as in, I know more than you do and I'm establishing myself as that, and then at the same time possibly belittling the reporter for asking such a stupid question or something. That's literally what he said, like, what was it, last week or something? But it could also be loaded on the other side of it as well with, I think I am subtly letting people know that the matter is in hand. Yeah, yes, I have spoken about it. Yes, we have spoken about it. Again, that means of trying to just tell people what they want to hear, right? They want to hear that I've spoken to Xi. He looks at the camera at Michael Scott times.
Well, you'd think it was pretty obvious that he has.
And I hate using this comparison because, you know, so many, we love Michael Scott. I love Steve Carell. The Office changed like television in some ways, you know, even obviously starting here with the UK Office. But David Brent, Michael Scott, both those characters, it's because the amount of ego that they have and the lack of handling of humility and social cues or norms sometimes, or even just tactful eloquence in the way that they might talk about something. At moments when they look at the camera is them either aware that they have been caught out in something, or aware that they're in a particularly sort of uncomfortable situation or something, because it's, number one, where is the camera, right? And number two, it's like almost, if they it's almost this unconscious thing that if I look at the camera, then I will know how people are seeing me right now, which obviously doesn't help because it just makes it 10 times more awkward. And there's instances like this, and like in the previous one, where he'll look at the camera to emphasize something, just like Michael Scott does, right? Oh, hey, did you catch that, what I just said? Or, hey, I'm just about to say something or do something or whatever. Did you see how cool I am or how cool I look or whatever? There's a lot of other body language that goes into it. But I think that what's so great with, or not so, what's so great, but what's so interesting and fascinating with looking at Trump interviews versus a lot of other people's interviews is those moments where he just looks dead down the camera, like he's almost breaking the fourth wall. It's not a fourth wall because this is news and it's reality, but times when a person sat behind that desk or with that kind of importance having these kind of interviews, if they were to look at the camera, we would know that they were going to say something important, because it's only really the rest of the time they're supposed to be looking at reporters. Do you know what I mean? They don't have these necessarily these sly glances and moments of like, you know, like the Michael Scott moments.
I need to know, otherwise this thing is going to spiral out of amok.
Michael says words that are way beyond my vocabulary.
I know where this is going.
Do you?
No.
What is it?
That is vodka, and I mixed it with orange juice. I call it an orange vodka juice.
That's really comfortable. You know what they say? Fool me once, strike one. But fool me twice, strike three.
And he just had one just there.
Well, you'd think it was pretty obvious that he has.
I wonder if he glanced at the camera because, oh, remind yourself the camera is here, so watch what you say, perhaps. This is being recorded, you know. But he did have a slight smug look on his face, although I will say, adding in what it is that he's saying and trying to very likely belittle her and establish himself as intellectually superior at the same time, that smirk is probably a facade going along with what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? I think it's pretty obvious that he has. You know, it's quite smirky. So I think that look at the camera is more, yeah, look at what I'm about to do. He's got really bushy eyebrows. It's hard to see.
You'd think it was pretty obvious that he has, but we will talk about that soon. It's not that important.
It's not that important because we're going to have a deal. It sounds like he's trying to get people to stop talking about it right now. We did the tariff, I did the tariff thing that I intended to do. So when he says it's not important and don't worry, we're going to have a trade, it's that we've already been and done that. The thing that we needed to do is done. The insider trading possibly, or the market chaos, or whatever it was, we've set out to do it. This is a fallout of that, this thing with China, which I just don't know if he just doesn't see it as that big of a problem. Yeah, it just seems like he's at the point kind of like he was with Signalgate and stuff, where it's like, look, this happened, that happened. Possibly he thinks like, oh, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, if this goes any further, or if it has fallout effects, which obviously it will. And, you know, props to China for at least standing their ground. You know, this is all a ridiculous mess, and nobody needs to be in any kind of trade war with people that they were trading allies with, like that. Yeah, it's the absolute madness of it, the insanity of it. But if that's the way that it has to be, then, you know, hats off to China for being, okay, that's the way it's gonna be. Bit. Ooh, there's a little bit more, hold on.
You said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to. Do you believe you have...
If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But
do you believe you have
I
the
don't
power
think
to remove him? And are you trying to do that?
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, really slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
It's interesting how he did not respond directly to, you know, will you still try and remove him even if he defies or whatever. He sounds a little bit like how sometimes like a parent maybe talks about a child or something like that. If I want him to, he will, trust me. The authority that he thinks that he has is on full display. Let's just watch it one more time, right? And specifically I want us to do the same that we did a minute ago of in the last video, watching where that he's looking with his eyes. Okay, so he does do this thing. I do it a lot of the time where I'm trying to think about something, either what I'm going to say or visualize the thing that I'm trying to get across or something, and I just sort of look off into the middle distance and talk about it as I'm articulating or gesticulating. And it's just something a lot of people do as they're searching for whatever their thought is, right? And he does do this, right? But one thing that I notice specifically with him is that when he wants to make the point that he wants to make, he locks in that eye contact. And he did it in the other video, he did it with the camera getting across to the lawyers at home, I suppose. Some he'll do it with viewers and stuff, knowing that there's an audience at home. I watch this, MAGAs. Watch what I'm about to do or say, or watch what I just did or just said. And this time he's doing it with her, right? He's like glances up at her a couple of times, like, yeah, I'm talking to you, yeah, I'm talking to you, and he's down here, and it's getting his thoughts out, he's searching, you know, that's just a regular thing that he does, and a lot of people do, you know, it's a regular human behavior. But then it's the locking of the eyes, which again isn't, you know, a lot of people do this. Like, I will maintain eye contact to emphasize the point that is the most important to me that I'm trying to get across. But just what's so fascinating with Trump, obviously, is the point that he is getting across when he does that eye contact. Yeah, so let's watch. Pay attention to when he locks in that eye contact, right? Not just the glances and stuff, but...
Do you believe you have the power to remove him, and are you trying to do that?
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
So specifically, he held eye contact when he was saying he's a little late.
He's too late, always too late, a little slow.
That's an important point he wants to get across. Like, I am going to hold my eye contact with you so you know that I think that he is late and slow, whatever that means.
If I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And then that one, that's like obviously the icing on the cake, or the topping on the cake, whatever you want to call it, if I want him to, he'll be out. Like, there's a different look in his eye from little late, little slow. Which, I mean, that makes sense, right? Given the two things that he's talking about. Like, the one thing that he's trying to convey and get across is, I think this about Jerome Powell, okay? But then the other one, which is like, you've asked me the question of, am I going to get on and remove him myself or whatever? Or do I have that authority? Do I think I have that authority? That's the one that's the most, his eyes are sharp. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really good example of, in a book or in a poem, if somebody describes, like, they give me a sharp look, what does that mean? We all kind of know what a sharp look means. This is a really good example. That's a sharp look. Like a knife.